Welcome to the Everyday GSD podcast. Today I have two amazing individuals that have a passion and a mission that they work together on, but I want to do a quick little intro. And when I say quick, I'm not doing you guys justice because I am going to probably make it short and then we're just going to have you guys expand. But I've got Zack and Ben. Zack, you're currently in the military. You've been in it about 12 years, 18 Charlie, your 10th group, Green Beret.
Yes, sir.
Ben, you were in the military for 10 years, infantry. You got medically retired because you were injured in Afghanistan.
That's correct.
That's correct, and we can talk about that a little bit. And then after you got injured in Afghanistan, and we'll say, for lack of a better word, you healed enough where you wanted to still get back in the action. You did government contracting, and you did that for several years for several different companies, diplomatic security, all kinds of high-speed shit, as we call it in our world. And thank you for doing that. And I think a lot of people don't understand what, a lot of listeners that are here right now understand it, but a lot of my audience doesn't understand what government contracting actually is. And I was talking to Justin last evening, the producer, who he's going to jump on here and just say some words eventually. I call him my Google, but we were talking about government contracting. He was like, I don't understand it. And I was like, I tried to explain it to him. And before the show started, we talked a little bit, and I said I'd call my mom every month, and then she'd say, what are you doing over there? And, I'm not building bridges, Mom.
That's very rarely.
I'm not a carpenter contractor over here, but I am using my hands.
I had very similar conversations with my wife. She'd ask me like, hey, well, how was your day? It was great. It was great,
it was
babe.
amazing.
It was a great day, babe. How was yours?
Yeah. Tell me about how's everything going back home?
How stressful is things back home? Sorry, babe, I still love you.
Yeah, that's amazing. But most importantly, and we're going to talk about this is actually why I wanted you guys on the show, and thank you for being here. We're at the Special Forces Association convention, and again, thank you for your service. And we say that a lot of times, prior military myself, and I've heard this a lot here when people say, thank you for your service, but what's the meaning behind that? But I am saying that to you as a medically retired individual who decided to do some everyday GSD shit, right? You both together, currently active duty, my brother, thank you, sir. But you guys decided to get together and found this organization called Legacy Relief Project, and I'll make sure that's on the screen, and we'll make sure all the links are all tied up. But that's the main reason what we want to talk about today. But I do want to get a little background about both of you guys, if you don't mind, where we can just kind of learn a little bit about you guys, and then we can get into what your guys' program is, because the research or the information that was given to me that I was able to do in between the other podcasts, it's fucking impressive, And by the way, we are allowed to swear on the show.
Sick, yeah.
All right, a few might slip out.
Yeah, I assumed.
A few might slip out. My mom watches the show, and she always says, Darin, the show was so good, but why did you say the F word? Mom, I love you. And my dad was in the Army, 82nd Airborne, back in the day, and so he listens to the show. So I think the guests that I've had on the show so far, he's going to be extremely excited. But I think he's going to be super fucking pumped when he hears what you guys have to share. So why don't we start with you, Zack? Why don't you just give me, you're growing up because you're in Colorado.
Yeah,
right now
so
with
I'm in
group.
Colorado now with 10th Special Forces Group, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But I grew up in rural Ohio, kind of on the outskirts of Akron, Ohio. Always knew I wanted to be in the military. Didn't really know what branch or what direction, but just like a lot of military guys, shooting fake bad guys in the backyard out of trees and stuff, terrorizing the village with rubber band guns or whatever. But I actually joined in the split op program. So my mother.
What is it called?
Split op program.
Okay, explain that to my listeners.
Yeah, it's a program for Army guys that are really young, still in high school. Really, it's a chance for you to join the reserves instead of going straight in active duty, because I had promised my mother to go to college,
right?
Try to get more education before I fully committed to the military.
Right.
So you go to basic training in between your junior and senior year of high school.
Okay.
Come back, finish high school.
So you're about 17?
I was 17.
Okay.
Yeah. I actually signed 6 days after my 17th birthday.
Wow. My fucking man.
Yeah. It was just something I always knew I wanted to do.
Right.
And then come back, finish your senior year of high school, and then go to AIT. So when I joined...
And go to what?
AIT, which is Advanced Individual Training.
Okay.
And that's where you learn your actual job the military is going to give you.
Right.
So I just picked the closest drilling station that was near me because like the next closest was like 50 miles away.
And drilling, for those of you who are listening, is we're not talking about oil fields. Drilling is where you go and do your weekend duty or your summer duty.
Correct, yep.
For the reserve program. It's called, you go and you do your drill, and you have so many weeks and so many months that you accumulate throughout the year to make sure you're obligated to your commitment.
Yep, exactly.
Just dropping some knowledge here.
Yeah. So I was a 92 Fox, which is fuel supply.
Okay, fual supply.
It was
Very
super
similar,
awesome.
very similar to the Green Berets.
Yeah, almost identical, really.
I don't make fun of them at all. At all.
So I did that for 5 years. And
Ben's over there going, yeah,
that's fucking
you're the fuel technologist.
Yeah, he always gets me. He's like, "Hey, fill up the truck." But no, it was just the closest unit to my house, and it gave me some money to go to school. I didn't really grow up in a super rich family, and I didn't realize that it wasn't actually that much money for school. And I also had no direction, really.
Right.
I didn't know what I wanted to be. I went to 3 different schools with 3 different intended majors, and still had no direction.
Right.
Found myself working in a factory for a little while, and I ended up going to the police academy in 2014 into 2015.
Okay.
And that's what I meant.
So we're 2014.
Yep.
So we're in 2023. So we're still in war.
Yeah.
We're still in war.
And I still had that vision, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I joined with the intention of going to war and being a war fighter.
Right.
And it just was becoming more and more apparent that
Did you hear that,
wasn't an
Justin?
opportunity.
No. Keep going. Yeah.
So I went to the police academy, and there I met a really good guy that was my introduction into the 18 X-ray program, which is...
And what's 18 X-ray for the listeners?
So it's the Army's program. It's a feeder pipeline for dudes coming straight off the street to give them a contract and give them an opportunity to go to Special Forces Assessment and Selection, which is known as SFAS, which then leads you into the Special Forces pipeline to become a Green Beret. So 6 months after graduating the police academy, I had already started submitting the paperwork, and I left, graduated in like March, left in August, basic training round 2, which was super awesome. And then because you have to become 11 Bravo qualified in order to meet the standards.
And 11 Bravo is?
Infantry.
So
Yeah, I'm going to do that a lot with that.
No, no, you just keep talking, and what I'm going to do is I'll just, if I feel like we haven't mentioned it on another show or been articulated to the guest, I'll just have you expand on it.
Beautiful.
It's all good, man. Because we use a lot of acronyms.
Yeah.
There's an acronym for acronym.
There's acronyms for everything.
It's ridiculous. I think the longest one I've seen is JFK SWC or USA JFK SWC, something like that.
And what does it stand for?
United States of America John F. Kennedy Special Warfares Command.
Yeah, right.
It's impressive.
DFAC on the end of that.
Yeah. Of course. Yeah. And here's your folder.
Went back through basic training, airborne school, ended up getting to selection in September of 2017. Graduated selection, and then you start the Q course pipeline, which varies and is.
And the Q course, which we've talked about on the show, but just again.
Yeah, it's the qualification course that allows you to become a Green Beret.
Right.
So there's.
It's the fucking icing.
Yeah, well, it's the basics. Honestly, it's the basics of becoming a Green Beret. You really don't learn how to become a Green Beret and do your job fully until 2 to 3 years into a team. So like I'm really just learned in this past year. I've just actually learned how to do my job fully.
Modestly, he says that for you guys listening. Both of these individuals are both fucking legit badasses. So
I appreciate that. Since I've been on a team since 2019, I've gotten to go to a couple other places in Eastern Europe, and TG Black Sea is what they call it, Training Group Black Sea, I believe it's called. Which is just a conglomerate of countries in that region around.
And for the record, you are still active duty, so there will be. We will not be talking about what you actually operationally are doing, just for OPSEC I don't want to get you in trouble, and or as far as Ben and I are concerned, we can say whatever the fuck we want. And and I joke, but Ben's like, I can't wait. But out of all due respect for you and the service that you're currently actually active duty. So don't feel like you have to explain anymore.
Cool,
but explain as much as you'd like. The listeners, I know the listeners are going to be fucking excited because they're like, that dude's still in. He's a real Green Beret. Yeah, these guys are badass. Continue.
So I got the MOS of 18 Charlie. On a team on the enlisted side, you really have 6 MOSs you can pick from, but 2 of them come later on. So you have your we'll start at Echoes.
Yep.
Those are your radio comms guys. You have your Deltas, those are your medics. You have your Charlies, which is what I am. That's an engineer. So construction and deconstruction, as well as logistics and property.
Right.
And then you have your Bravos, and those are your weapons guys, your operations guys.
And you're all one team.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And you guys call it the A team?
ODA, yeah, so Operational Detachment Alpha.
Yeah.
And then, I could probably, you have multiple Operational Detachment Alphas with a B team as well, which are also comprised of Green Berets, but they kind of help with a lot of the backside support.
So you're in college or you're in school and you're going through this program and you go through the 18 Charlie program, which basically allows you to get an application in, and then you have to prove yourself, go through all the training and stuff to go through the pipeline.
So the X-ray program is your...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I said that wrong. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you're meeting requirements, like there's hurdles and milestones along the way.
Right.
And you're constantly being evaluated at every point. Like,
right.
Even when you're not in a course, like
right.
if you're doing stupid stuff, like you're in trouble, and you're constantly up on PT and stuff, even outside of actual courses. And then you don't actually get your MOS until...
And MOS stands for?
Military Occupation...
Specialty.
Yeah.
No, I always forget the S.
Yeah. So in the Coast Guard, it's not called an MOS. It's just your rating.
Oh, really? That's the same as Navy, correct?
No, I feel like it is, but then I feel like Jesse, my buddy who's a Navy SEAL, runs the shooter program next door.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like he says the word MOS, but I was like, I think it's an Army thing. It's your MOS.
Dude, I don't understand anything with the Navy. Their rank structure, their
oh
ratings.
My God, it's so easy.
What are you? Who are you? What do you do?
You know, it's so funny.
Do I salute you?
when I was in the Coast Guard walking on an Army base, I was doing we were doing joint training, and when I was on the teams, right, and I was walking on an Army base, and I was wearing I feel like our basic uniform, because in the teams we didn't wear uniforms. We had a different uniform.
Okay. Yeah.
But out in the base they made us wear wear your blues or whatever they were called.
So
anyone listening to this that was in the Navy and Coast Guard, that's not what the uniform's called. I don't give a shit. Point is, I had to wear this uniform. And I'm walking across the base, and all these Army guys are saluting me, and I'm like, they all think I'm way higher up than I am. So it's
Just let it happen.
It's the hat, and I'm saluting. Carry on.
Just let it ride.
Did that 1-star general just salute me? That actually never happened. For the record, that actually never happened. Okay, continue. I digress.
And then I guess moving into, I've been on a team for a little while, and I don't really want to get into the reasons why I don't like the military or why I'm getting out, because the Army has offered me tons of great opportunities.
Well, you're getting out because you want to put all your effort into legacy relief project.
Absolutely.
Right?
And I want to use the skills that the Army has provided me, and I really think God built me to do, and use it for good.
Right.
The main reason is I don't think the government necessarily has people's interests. I think they have their interests at heart. And Ben and I sat down, and we'll get into the beginning of Legacy after Ben kind of introduces himself. But we sat down, and we were like, how do we use...
And how do you guys know each other?
So, best friends. We ran into each other at the gym.
It was a God thing,
and it was one of those bromances right out the gate. He was wearing a Vertex hat, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah,
I gotta talk to that guy.
What's your name?
You're speaking my language.
Do I say it sexy like this, Jesse? Hey, Justin. What's your name? Is that good?
Great.
Yeah. Ben, let's hear a little bit about you, and then we're going to jump into it. So, again, and I say this, and I think I can say it here and you get it when I say thank you for your service, because you know it's an empty statement that comes from a lot of people, and it actually sometimes annoys me, but you know it's coming from my heart when I say thank you for your service.
Same to you, man.
Yeah,
Same to you.
I appreciate that. 10 years infantry, medically retired because of an injury.
Yep.
Obviously that's not a good fucking situation, and so you have to everyday GSD and make the best of your life and figure out what you're going to do. But let's talk about what made you go in the Army, and then give me a little story about the Army, and then we're going to move right into what you guys are really on the show for, which I can't wait to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. So I grew up in Palmetto, Florida, just south of Tampa. Unlike Zach, I was kind of.
Don't you have a house in Palmetto, Florida?
Anna Maria Island.
Sorry.
Oh man.
Sorry.
That's good stuff.
Anna Maria Island.
Sorry.
Yeah.
My bad. Sorry for insulting.
Sorry for right. Yeah, sorry.
So he'll understand.
How dare.
How dare you? My mom's calling and she goes, "Can we stay there?"
Well, it's actually really funny because Palmetto is known as Palmaghetto, so that we're not like anyone on like Anna Maria Island. We kind of they're Palmetto. Okay. Hey, nice.
Yeah.
But so grew up on the Gulf Coast there,
and that's why you were able to witness Coast Guard search and rescue guys fucking getting after it.
Dude, I loved it. The Coast Guard station in Tampa, they were always flying their C-130s, dropping boats out into the water, and this young kid, out there fishing. I'm like, man,
that's cool shit.
Cool. That's cool. I want to do that.
Yeah. So instead, you joined the Army.
So instead, I joined the.
Said you joined the Army and went to war.
Yeah. So so my trajectory into the Army, I was kind of screwed out of the gate. I come from an Army lineage. My grandpa fought with Patton through World War II. I mean, he's from start to finish. I mean, I grew up listening to those stories, and I mean, I was immersed in the Army culture. Like, he would buy me stinking BDUs and send me the Army magazines, and my uncle actually was in 10 Special Forces Group, Carl Sexton. He has been a great impact on my trajectory in my life as well. So I grew up in the military culture, always knew I was going to join the Army. So even though I said I love the Coast Guard guys, but there was never a choice.
Let's face it, you didn't score high enough on your ass, man.
That is the truth. Yeah, I mean, and there's a reason why I ended up as an infantry.
You should have gone fueler, honestly.
You should have gone fueler.
Yeah.
Hey, fill up the fucking car, man.
Yeah.
It'd be you, Ben, not Zach.
Yeah. But so fast forward to high school, I was one of those nerds. I was a JRTC kid, through and through. I mean, all the teams, rifle team, drill team, Raider team, anything you could do with JRTC military. I played basketball in high school too. I wasn't very good at it. My sister is a phenomenal athlete. She's collegiate.
And what's your sister's name?
Brooke Corbett. Yeah,
Brooke Corbett. Yeah. Shout out to Brooke.
Yeah, she's
older sister or younger?
10 months older.
10 months older.
I was definitely the whoopsie.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Brooke,
she's a triathlete now, dude. She's crushing it.
She's crushing it.
We need to get her on the show.
She would love it.
Is she in Ohio?
No, she's actually in Florida as well. She's crushing it. So she went and got her master's degree in counseling. She's pouring her heart and soul into, she's a high school basketball coach now. So she's pouring all of her energy into uplifting these girls, and I mean, she's got all kinds of stuff going on.
I love it.
She's more involved than I am, even with starting her own nonprofit. But
and I want to talk about that again. Legacy Relief Project. It is a 501(c)(3). We'll make sure the name goes on the screen, but we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
I do want to hear a little bit more about your sister, Brooke.
Yeah.
No,
for sure. She's a rock star. I love her to death. But so. Fast forward, like I said, I always knew I was joining the Army. So 2 days after my 17th birthday, I was like, Dad, let's go. We're going to the recruiting station. And I joined the Army at 17, 2 days after my birthday.
What year is this about?
2006.
So 2006, for those of you who live under a rock for the last however many years, we are in the heat and the hotness of the war in the Middle East, 2006. So you raised your right hand and signed up, knowing when you graduate boot camp and go to your school, and I say your school, every military has a school, or there's different names for it, but your specialty, but you signed up knowing that you were going to go to war.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of we knew it. So yeah, I joined infantry. I went to one station unit training at Fort Benning, which for those that don't know, like Zach said, you normally do basic training, then they separate you to AIT. But back then, if you were infantry, they just did it all in one. You were just looped into this 6 months of hell.
That's the reason why I had to go back a second time.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have that additional training.
Yeah, so
It's for real.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he got a double dose of it.
Yeah, that's excellent. Let's do this shit again.
Yeah.
One wasn't enough.
Yeah, so I actually had a little bit of hiccup myself, and I got to do basic and infantry kind of twice as well. So when I was in infantry school,
It was just making you stronger.
yeah. So I broke my foot on my left foot, and so I was like 10 weeks in, and they recycled me, and they're like, hey.
And recycling, for those of you who don't know, is
They just kicked you all. Yeah, they restarted you.
correct.
But it wasn't because I failed anything. I broke my stinking foot,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Hey, so sorry you did 10 weeks of hell. We're gonna send you back to week 2."
Good news, you get to start over.
Yeah, week 2.
You're all healed.
Yeah. So they kicked me all the way back to week 2. So I got a full shebang twice. Went through it twice, and then I actually ended up at Fort Carson.
Fort Carson, Colorado.
Yep. So back then, when I first showed up, it was
Which is where the 10th group is.
Yep. So that's when I first showed up at Fort Carson. I was assigned to 2nd Brigade, 2nd Infantry Division, and I went right into the reconnaissance kind of the world, right out the gate. Even though I was light infantry.
And when you say light infantry, for the listeners, there's obviously there's a difference. So light infantry means.
So light infantry, essentially, we did all of our operations were based off of our 2 feet. So anything we didn't have vehicles, we didn't have trucks, we didn't have helicopters, tanks, whatnot. So
Your body is your machine.
Your body is your machine. So so you just trained with heavy crap on your back.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well, we got to go do this operation.
Nothing wrong with your knees.
Yeah,
You're fine.
30K away.
Here's some Motrin.
Yeah. So yeah, showed up 2nd ID, our 2nd Brigade, 2nd ID, and then a couple months in, we reflagged as 4th Brigade, 4th Infantry Division, and we went right into training cycle for Afghanistan deployment. So my first deployment was 2009. I left in May of 2009 to Kunar Province, Afghanistan, which for those of you who don't know, it's up in RC East, or was RC East, in the Hindu Kush Mountains, so essentially along the Pakistan border. We did
A hot zone.
Oh, it was a great time. Yeah, it was a great time. So there's actually a couple videos or documentaries like Korengal Valley and whatnot, and Hornet's Nest and all that stuff. So that whole region is where I really kind of had my come to Jesus moments.
Yeah.
So those. We did a lot.
Zach says you lived. You're like, yeah, I fucking survived.
Survived. I mean, I don't know who I was talking to the other day, but they're saying, it was one of the Green Beret series. Like, we deployed for 4 months and we were in 78 days of sustained combat. Well, I was there I think we were there for like 380 something days, and we had 372 days or something like that of sustained combat operations. So it was.
Did you hear that, Justin? 370-ish days of fucking combat in a row. Tick, 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 tick.
Yeah,
he's not even looking. He's not even going to bring the microphone to his face. He's like, I don't have a word to say. He just shakes his head. I don't blame you, but it's fucking wild. And because an average tour, when you're 6 months or 9 months, depends on what your deployment is or what your operation is. Obviously, Green Berets, it's a little different. Sometimes you go in for 2 or 3 months, you do the operation and you leave, or you go to another designated area.
Yeah, I can speak to that a little bit. So Green Berets generally do 6 months rotations. That's the model currently. I think it was a little longer or changed a little bit at the beginning of the war. And then Rangers, they generally do, I think it's 3 to 4 month rotations.
Okay.
They're doing them more frequently, but still regular line units, I think they're doing 8 to 10 months.
I think they just changed to the 9-month model.
Yeah,
but
it's really good for the brain.
I didn't get that pleasure. It was all.
You're like, cool, I'm here every day.
Yeah, this is it. So
hey, Mom, I'm safe.
Yeah. Well,
We're good. She's like, I can hear bombs and bullets going by your head. Is that what? No, Mom, it's the TV behind me. We're just hanging out.
Well, we didn't have that capability when for the first 6 months, my platoon, so what we did is that we were in these regional outposts, like small platoon level, I was in a scout platoon, so we only had
forward operating base?
Yeah, not even that. It was an outpost. So we had 17 Americans attached to, 30 Afghan National Army guys and living on the side of a mountain. So, and we would do
just camping,
just hanging out, being boys. So it was a very unique mission set. What we did, we would just do a lot of like clearance operations. We would, cross through the mountains, and a lot of the things we did, we'd watch the passes in from Pakistan, do like key leader engagements for different regional areas. But it was chaos. It was chaos. So but I learned a lot. I think I was probably 19 when I first arrived boots on ground, and I made E5 on that deployment as a 20-year-old kid. I mean, it was baptism by fire. I mean, it was one of those things where you grew up real quick. I mean, I didn't. The training.
Not old, but just to be clear, not old enough to buy beer legally in America. Just for the record,
right?
Not legally at this time.
Or a pistol. I couldn't even buy a handgun.
Right.
Which
and at that point, and just reiterate where you were at.
I was in Kunar, Afghanistan.
Yeah. Probably had a gun in your hand, I'm guessing.
Yeah, one or two. Yeah. So it was a really, really great opportunity for me. I and the men I was with. I mean, there's so if you guys have heard of Cop Keating, that was my battalion. So that was the battle that netted 2 Medal of Honors, Ty Carter, Clint Romachet.
You didn't say that in our pre-beef.
That was my battalion. Those are, Clint and I are good dude, really good dude. He's got a good book called Red Platoon about that deployment.
It's called Red Platoon?
Red Platoon.
We'll make sure we put that on there.
Yep. So, Clint Romachet, gotta go throw my...
And say his name for the recording clearly.
Clint Romachet.
Okay,
he's a Medal of Honor recipient for what he did up at Keating, and Ty Carter also received a Medal
Ty
of Honor.
Carter.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was a good time. So that was my first deployment.
It was a good time. I'm not your mom, bro. It's okay. You can be honest. Like,
I'm fine.
Yeah, no, I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, no.
So
I'm fine.
I wasn't at Keating. I was south of there. I was down in a small outpost called Bari-Alai in Pirtle King. But yeah, it was an interesting 12 months, or I was there 13 months. I was one of those.
Just the extra month for bonus.
Well, they don't talk about.
Just in case,
They don't talk about like Advon parties and whatnot. I was one of those lucky guys that got Advon, and then as we rotated out, I was like, last chalk to leave. Like, how did I get the short end of the stick on that one? But so finished up that deployment, came back to to Colorado Springs there, and went right back into train up for next rotation. So,
and when did you get injured?
On my 2011, 2012 rotation. So my next deployment.
How many? So it was your second tour?
Second tour. Second tour. So second tour.
We just to be clear for the audience, this is we are in war at this time, so we're not just going to a deployment. We're not getting stationed over in Germany, and we got the BAH, and we've got a nice house on the water. That's not the case. We're working. We're in the fucking thick of it, and you're on your second tour, and then you get injured. Yeah.
So second deployment, I was down at a FOB. So things were changing.
Forward operating base.
Yeah, forward operating base. We were chained in the Jalalabad area. It was the policy of things, the way the Army was handling Afghanistan at that time was really weird. We were really trying to push Afghan first. The Kandeks, like they're the face of everything. So we were doing a lot of closure stuff, a lot of training and advising for the Afghan National Police. So and in that role, I was doing a lot of clearance operations. From your background, we went and burned a lot of poppy fields, which the Taliban didn't like at all.
Not at all.
They weren't happy about
Not
that.
at all. Yeah.
So
Just trying to get rid of these pretty flowers.
yeah, and we actually just came out of a talk about what these IED countermeasures do to your body, and I was that poor soul that got the Thor system. I'm 6'5".
Yeah.
For those of you who can't see me, they put this electronic countermeasure walking through poppy fields for the IEDs. I got this long whip that's 15 feet in the air, and it's like swinging back and forth. It's like, hey guys, here I am.
Yeah, if you didn't know where I was at,
shoot that guy.
Immediately, I'm your target.
Yeah, and who knows what that thing was frying on me though.
Yeah.
I mean, for the days of walking through poppy fields and working with the police. But fast forward to the injury, we were. I think they're called what are the MRAPs called? The new
Buffaloes
ones.
or
No, the new ones. Anyways,
yeah, it's fine.
RG something.
Yeah,
we got these new vehicles.
RG7s, RG9s.
Yeah, we got these new high-speed vehicles that.
My buddy, and I sorry to interrupt, and I won't say his name. His first name starts with a K. His last name starts with D. He listens to the show, and that's why I said that. But he was part of the program, I believe, as a government contractor, getting those for you guys.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's prior service, a badass fucking dude.
Yeah.
And then he's government contractor, but I'm pretty sure because he sends me these videos, you don't show anyone this. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, the Army's going to have this soon. Or like, we delivered those.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. But KD, you're listening. Love you, brother. Keep doing what you're doing. Continue.
Yeah, so we did this. We were getting spun up to do this big clearance operation with the Afghan National Police, actually, and things right out the gate were kind of off for us because the CAN deck that we were working with, it was a commando unit, so special operations of the Afghan Army. They said, yeah, we're not going to go. We're not going to do anything with that. And the police. It was just kind of a weird vibe right out the gate. We're like, but our command was like, yeah, we're going to go do it. We got to do it. So we were heading up into this is a Kunar region, so just south of Kunar River Valley, going to burn some poppy fields and do a joint clearance operation with the Afghan National Police. And on the way out, our vehicle convoy took an IED. I was the lead TC.
And TC stands for?
Truck commander. So I was in the lead vehicle. I was sitting in the right seat, front right seat, controlling the convoy.
Being a beautiful target.
Yeah.
Pick me.
Yeah, literally the IED sponge, as I found. So, so the IED that disabled the truck was pretty small. So we hit a small little, I think it was like 80 or 90 pound HME, but it blew the whole front right tire off the truck. But
only a badass fucking individual goes. It was just a small IED.
It really wasn't though, but in terms, in terms of like what they were throwing at us at the time, it really wasn't. And for this multi-million-dollar vehicle, sorry, I got to talk shit on your dude.
No, you're
this
fine.
This multi-billion-dollar vehicle, you'd think it would be able to hold up a little 90-pound, but it blew the whole front wheel off. So here we are stuck. We can't move, and then we go into this complex ambush, and
I might be wrong on the vehicles, and Kay, who listens to this, he's like, that's not my vehicle. That vehicle,
that's false advertisement.
We replaced that vehicle. That one fucking sucked.
Yeah. So the vehicle, I think they were called MATVs.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that's his shit.
Yeah. But the complex ambush and the lead vehicle at the time, we had what is called a Crow system, and it's a 50 cal machine gun, and it's essentially for all you Call of Duty guys out there, my gunner could sit right behind me.
Call of Duty is the video game.
Yeah, they could sit with a little joystick and just rain hell from inside the vehicle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they just had, you had FLIR, you had night vision capability, all on a screen right in front of you, and you just...
And FLIR is forward-looking infrared.
Yeah, it just an instrument of death is what it was. But the unfortunate drawback to it,
it couldn't take a hit.
Well, no, if you ran out of ammo, you had to reload from the top of the vehicle. So someone had to get out in the middle of this hell.
Yeah, combat situation.
Yeah, and reload the 50 cal. So being the truck commander,
that was you.
That was I got. Well, I just did it. So I just opened it up, hopped up on top, and another round an RPG came in, I lost my balance, fell and landed on my head and broke my neck and broke my back.
He's so nice about it too. He goes, I lost my balance. Because the Army put in his medical record, he slipped and fell while he was reloading ammunition.
Well, I actually had to fight.
Compliant.
I actually had to fight for my combat code for my CRC later.
Are you fucking kidding me?
That's a whole nother, because I didn't get a Purple Heart for it.
What?
Yeah, I didn't. I don't have a Purple Heart.
Are you kidding me?
I'm dead serious. I don't have a Purple Heart.
There's got to be someone at this convention that can fix that.
Yeah, I didn't get a Purple Heart.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm dead serious. Yeah. But the whole thing that happened was my part of the reason
they're like, he's 10% disabled.
Well, I didn't know I was hurt because the adrenaline.
Yeah, you broke your back and your neck.
But I didn't feel anything.
Right.
So I get back up. We finish the fight. We get off the X and whatnot. And I'm sitting in the truck and I'm like,
yeah, the adrenaline starts to go.
Yeah, and I'm like,
to your feet.
Oh shit, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like I can't feel my fingers.
Yeah, that shit's numb.
Yeah, my back hurts a little bit, and that's where it all kind of came down. Like I got evac'd. The medic came and he's like, "Hey," started doing my processing. They're like, "All right, we need to get you checked out." And that's when, ended up in Bagram. They did all the testing. They're like, "You're done."
You're all set. You're medically discharged, and your buddy who has tinnitus, he's got 10%. We're going to give you 10%, and you can go to the VA and fight for the rest of it. 5 years later, you're 60, 70, 80, still fighting. But I'm assuming you're 100% disabled.
I'm 100% disabled. Yeah. So
fortunately,
I didn't get medically retired at that point though. So
what?
No, I actually stayed in till.
Justin, I'm scratching my head over here, bro.
So that
Does this
happened.
really surprise you?
No, it actually, unfortunately, Zach, it does not surprise me.
So, well, so what? No, we're going down a rabbit hole.
No, we can go down a rabbit hole.
But so that happened in my 2011, 2012 rotation. I got sent home.
I gotta step back for a minute. He gets blown off a fucking vehicle. Gets hit by an RPG. I'm sorry, no.
I didn't get hit.
No, the vehicle.
Yeah, the vehicle did. Yeah.
Sorry, you didn't get hit.
Yeah.
He slips. See the quote? Slips because his feet were wet, probably with fucking blood
in the desert.
In the fucking desert, in the desert, the driest fucking place on earth. Slips off the truck, and the Army's like, I don't even know if I want to go deeper in that.
Yeah,
I might get angry. Yeah. I might get angry.
But so, I worked my way back up, and I actually got the physical rating code to be back to full duty status. So I actually PCS'd to Germany. I took over as a scout platoon sergeant in Germany, and I started having issues with nerves. So I was actually, I went through a medical, so this would have been 2014 now, so a couple of years down the road, or 2015. So I went to my PA to get a physical to go to a school. And I'm a platoon sergeant at this time. I'm pushing.
You're still active.
Still active duty. I'm working on that.
Fucking shocking.
Yeah, I'm approaching that 10-year mark. I'm invested.
Yeah.
You're on
the dime.
This is my life. And I go to this PA, and he's like, "Hey, I'm going to go get you. I want you to get an MRI for this school." And I get the MRI, and I'm still I am still really salty about how my career ended. So they sent me to this MRI. I get the MRI. I'm like packing my bags to go to this school, right? And
now you're all fucked up. You got to go home.
Yeah. So I get a call, and they're like, "Hey, the commander wants you in his office." So I'm like, "All right, cool. What's up?" I go in, I talk, and the battalion PA is in with my company commander.
That's a physician assistant.
Yep. And then I didn't really like him very much.
Fair enough. And I don't like him.
Yeah. So
actually, I don't like him at all.
So I'm sitting in
Bring him to me.
Yeah. So I'm sitting in this office, and they're like, "Hey, we got bad news." So at this time, the Army is in a serious drawback. They're trying to make cuts, getting guys out, and I was a unfortunate recipient of that. So I'm in the office, and the PA and the company commander is the one that's like, "Hey, we just initiated a permanent profile on you. You're going to get med boarded. Your career's done, essentially." And I'm supposed to leave in a couple days.
You're like, "Awesome, that's great. Thanks, appreciate you."
And yeah, literally, like.
And you're about 10 years at this point.
Yeah, 10 years. So I'm at that point I would have been 9 years, and it took I went to the med port.
A year to medical
freaking
out.
year of just pure hell of
Yeah.
actually trying to fight for my.
Yeah, for everything that you deserved. Deserved.
That was I won't even get into that.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up leaving the military, was through all of that process. But then, I got home, and I was I was actually still on medical or terminal leave.
Yeah.
And
which is funny when civilians hear terminal leave, they're like, "Were you dying?" I was like, "No, it's all the time I accumulated when I was getting ready to leave, and I had this terminal leave."
Yeah.
It does sound awful if you think about it as a civilian. You're like, so terminal leave.
That's not good.
That's not good. No, it's actually it was good. I was getting paid, but what was it about?
Yeah, so I actually ended up into the government sector just because, as a kind of F you to the Army. I was like,
I'm gonna make some money now.
Well, no, it was more of like, you guys told me I'm broken and I can't do this anymore. F you.
Yeah.
F you. I'm going to prove you wrong. So
my mom's gonna like you because you're not saying fuck.
Yeah. Yes. So I ended up taking a position with Worldwide Protective Services, so the Department of State, doing diplomatic security for the embassies in Iraq. So I drove around I like to say I drove around politicians while they messed up our foreign policy. Yeah. I made sure they were safe. Yeah. So
you made sure they didn't get killed.
Yeah, that opened up the sphere of the government world and everything I did after that. So that's a little. I know I went into depth, but that's...
No, you didn't. You were good.
That's my story.
So you did government contracting. I've got a couple notes here. Diplomatic security in Iraq, obviously in Baghdad. And then you... are you still doing government contracting, or we're not talking about that?
No, I left the government contracting. I did it. I worked for a couple different agencies under that umbrella.
Some alphabet companies.
Yeah, some alphabet companies.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then I did... I really had a really cool opportunity to go and work in the private, like true private sector here, stateside, in the oil industry up north in North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, as a security infrastructure specialist, I think is what they call it, or something along that. And I just protected it from critical infrastructure damage and stuff like that. So really neat opportunity. Short stint as a law enforcement officer, federal law enforcement. And
did you like that?
No. I will say fuck on that.
Yeah,
so I fucking hated it.
Yeah. One of the guys on my team so I was on 401, but then I deployed with like 403, 407, several other teams as a team leader. Yeah. When I was doing it, you could jump from team to team if they needed a certain specific person. Mm-hmm. So I was always like, I'll go. I got all the quals. I'll go. Nice. And one of the guys that was on 407, he ended up becoming a federal law enforcement officer of sorts. Yeah. And he did it for a year, and he was like, "Shoot me in the fucking face." I didn't even make it a year. Yeah. I say a year. I might be giving him a little, because he does listen to the show too. He's a good dude, and I know he's probably like, "Dude, I didn't make it a year." It was fucking miserable. Yeah, it was a mess. Yeah. But and that's where Zach comes in. So where did you guys meet?
We met at the gym, actually. So he actually works out at the same gym my wife works out at.
In Colorado.
In Colorado, yeah.
Okay.
And at the time I would hop in the gym with her every once in a while, and it was we call it a God thing. It was a chance meeting.
Right. And make sure you're close to that. Yeah. No, you're good, bro.
It was a chance encounter. I had a Vortex hat on and a Soft Fleet shirt on. And I was getting in the gym like I always do. I mean, look at you. Yeah. For anyone listening, just look at him. He doesn't skip gym day, guys. Actually, I'm pretty sure he was on the bicycle when I saw him. that hand crank thing. Yeah,
I just want to know what he puts in his hair.
His product.
Actually, I love it. You're sure you're not a Navy SEAL?
I think the requirements I heard was one oil-based and one water-based hair product. I don't know if that's true. Yeah.
I'm a Dapper Dan man myself.
My wife uses LA Looks. It's like $2 a fucking jug. There you go. 5-gallon bucket. Yeah.
It's just concrete. It was a chance encounter. And we just struck up a conversation. Right. And we just walked separate ways. We're like, hey, man, that guy was cool. It was nice talking to him. But I told my wife a couple of days later, I was like, that guy seemed really cool. If I see him again, I'll talk to him.
Did you know that he was prior military? And because he saw your shirt?
Yeah.
He was.
And we talked for a little bit, maybe like 15, 20 minutes. Yeah. It wasn't long. And probably 2 weeks went by, and I went to the gym with my wife again, and he happened to be there, and I think I went up to you, and I just started a conversation, and it was love at first sight.
Yeah,
you know?
no, I love it. No, for real, like no, seriously,
Romance.
Yeah. But no, actually, I called myself a Christian at the time, and he was getting really back into his faith, and he invited me to his church. So I started attending church with him a lot, and he brought me back to God significantly.
Right.
And I appreciate that.
And is this how you guys created the legacy relief program?
That was the beginning, yeah.
So it is religious based, or
Absolutely.
no? Or you guys, because of your faith, you were brought together. And I think you mentioned before the show, and I appreciate that I think you said, and if I'm misquoting you, it's fine. You can correct me. That's why we have these shows. You said faith brought you together.
Yeah.
You believe that because you could go to the gym all the time and never talk to this guy ever, and then somehow your wife's like, "Hey, come to the gym with me today," and you're probably being lazy that day as a Green Beret. 'Cause Green Berets, we all know, are lazy. You guys hear that out there? Green Berets are lazy. We're probably gonna get fucking shot right now.
So much for being able to leave our gear here.
Yeah. We were
all
saying
gone.
that this is the safest place in Indiana.
That's
Right now.
burned down.
I can leave all my shit here, and I'm not worried about anyone taking it.
Yeah.
I have the most honest and humbled, loyal defenders of our fucking country here at one point. And you being one of them, So I digress. So anyway,
that's faith is definitely kind of what put us on this trajectory. That's kind of, we started having conversations like, hey man, because of our backgrounds, what put us on this trajectory was I came to him and I was like, hey man, I got all these skills. Government made me who I am. And I'm sick and tired of using my skills to tear things down, break things apart. All of the skills everything I've always done has been for, death and destruction.
Right.
So how do we translate these skills into something that we could, either bring or like help humanity or those were the initial stuff we were throwing at the wall. Like, okay, what does this look like?
You're saying this to him.
Yeah. We're like,
this is a conversation at his dining room table, and I honestly think this is a conversation. A lot of people getting out of the military struggle with that. Like, how
Absolutely.
What do I do with this stuff?
Yeah.
And I know the reason I joined was because I wanted to make the world. I want to leave the world better than I found it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I want to have an impact, and I want to do good things for other people.
Yeah.
Like, De Oppresso Libere is the Green Beret motto: free the oppressed. That's what I think we should be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we started throwing ideas at the wall, like, hey, should we start a training school? Should we, go into, there was so many things.
When you say a training school, what were you thinking when you said
just
that?
like the typical, every tactical
Yeah.
CCW schools. Yeah. Like, but there's and not to knock those things.
No, not at all.
But there's a million of them out there, and there's guys way more qualified than us that are, rock stars in that industry. So we're like, okay, well that's not going to work. And then, definitely the faith-based, our Christian faith was like, okay, well, what if we took the special operations mindset and integrated that somehow into Christian missions or into humanitarian relief?
Okay, I have one question for you, and then I want you to pause that exact thought because I want to go from there. Did you have this belief or this Christian faith your whole life?
Absolutely not. Well, so I grew up in a Christian home.
Okay, but you.
I was a Christian in name only.
Okay.
Same.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I asked that because I've had several people that I've talked to at this event that have a very similar answer, and it's, yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. But continue. I wanted to ask that question.
So no, that's a good question. So Christian in name only, but so we brought this idea of, okay, what if we can integrate these skills that we've learned and integrate that into Christian missions or humanitarian relief efforts? And specifically what Legacy Relief Project is to support legacy operations that are, getting shit done in the war, in crisis zones or war zones, specifically more like the war zone type things. So, in working with Christian missionaries, like grassroots, giving that full scope mindset to ministry and to humanitarian relief efforts. So that was the initial vision. That was the initial vision, and Legacy Relief Project has grown into something truly amazing and we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary here real soon. And it's been a wild ride. It's been the most fulfilling work I have ever done in my life.
And that's coming from a guy who served 10 years in infantry, that medically retired from the military, and another individual sitting next to me, obviously, Zack, not a former Green Beret, a Green Beret, currently active duty. And when you, that's deep.
Yeah.
You're like, yep.
Yeah, well,
that's what
honestly, we've had a couple of guys on our teams that have gone with us that had, one of them didn't know anything about Christianity.
Yeah.
Right.
And the other one, he dabbled in it, but didn't really know anything. And they've along the journey, it's really impacted their lives. They've made life changes.
Right.
And, they've come to find the Lord. And, really enhanced their life personally.
That's amazing. Let's talk about actually the program. Yeah. And I'll call it the program. I don't know if that's the appropriate word. I don't want to downplay if it's called something else. But the Legacy Relief Project. Mm-hmm. What is it? What are you guys doing? I already know because you've shared it with me. But for the listeners who just jumped in, what is it actually doing? You guys are doing humanitarian relief. But what does that mean? What are you doing?
Yeah, so what it initially started is the door opened for us to operate in Haiti. So what we do is we partner with grassroots entities and provide training, logistical support, threat mitigation, all of that kind of special operations by, with, and through mindset to small entities that are trying to sustain and do their legacy operations or whatever God's put on their heart in these regions. So we enable them and try, but when I say enabling, we try and mitigate that threat aspect or enhance their logistical network through training local staff, through security, logistics support, big picture wise.
And people that are listening right now, you just heard Haiti, and I'm going to say someone's sitting on their couch and they're like, yeah, I go to Dominican Republic for vacation, or I go, I want you to elaborate a little on that, because I spent some time in Haiti, not on vacation.
Yep.
Papa Doc Jr., when he was putting tires around people and burning them.
Yep.
That's a common practice in Haiti.
That's
it's called rolling or
something.
wheeling.
Yeah, wheeling.
Yeah.
It's like a preferred method.
Yeah, and it's interesting when you tell someone that, you're like, that's not true. I'm fucking telling you, there's a lot of shit that you don't think that I say is true, but it's all fucking true, man. It's fucking wild.
Yeah. So I've been to some pretty bad places in the world, and Haiti is the worst place I've ever been. It is just pure chaos. It is a failed state. I don't know any other words to explain it. It's the worst place I've ever been. Gangs control, and I'm not even going to call them gangs. They're insurgent groups control the country. They've choked off all the logistics, all the food, everything into the civilian population. So, yeah, it's a interesting beast. So, yeah, we ended up in Haiti, and you can talk, Zach, if you want to talk a little bit more about that first operation and kind of what we've morphed into now.
Yeah. And what are you doing in Haiti, though? You're trying to help individuals escape Haiti, like in the 90s, the AMIO operations, or are you trying to help them because it's women and children trafficking? Let's dive a little bit deeper, if you don't mind.
Yeah, and I can definitely talk that. So there's been basically an exodus from Haiti over the past 3 years, I would say.
Yeah.
Basically, they're calling for everybody to get out of Haiti. And I would say 90 to 95% of the missionary organizations down there have left because it's so hostile.
Right.
And it's not like they're actively hunting Christians or actively looking for white people. It's just they're doing what they can to survive. There is nothing there. There's no food. There's no water. There's no government. There's no social services. So it boils down to, what do you have that I need, and you are the only option that I have. I'm going to take it.
Right.
So what we did was our first ever operation was actually back in December. We partnered with an organization called Haiti Bible Mission. They're down in the southwestern point of Haiti, a small town called Jeremy on the coast.
And Haiti is an island that's connected to Dominican Republic, or Dominican Republic connected to Haiti. It's one island down in the Caribbean for you non-geographical 8th graders that don't know where it is.
So he's got himself a small staff of local national security member. Like
Okay.
They're Haitians that do provide security for him, but he's a missionary. And unfortunately, that's what is required down there just to keep him safe.
Right.
He's been down there for about 14 years now, and he's been able, through that security staff and then his networks that he's built in the local community, just the respect that he commands from the people there because of the good things that he's done down there.
Right.
He's been able to stay off of that, radar of the gangs. That being said, he does run into problems very regularly.
Right.
And he's only really safe in the town of Jeremy.
Yeah.
That's only really where he has influence. But what we did is we went down there for 3 weeks and we gave them like basically we call it a basic security course, where we trained his security staff how to operate a little bit more smoothly,
Right.
how to plan, and their leaders on.
And you're
how
able to do
plan.
this while you're on active duty?
I don't go down to Haiti. It's
Right.
It's not an option for me currently.
Yeah, I was thinking, right?
Yeah,
So,
so-
you're working behind the scenes back
Yeah,
in the
I'm
US.
more of the backside support guy right now.
Yeah.
Until I'm able
Dropping
to actually-
knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Giving
He's the one
corrections here
telling
and
me
there
like,
and-
Ben, you shouldn't do that. That's a bad idea.
I'm a Green Beret.
I do help out with a lot of the planning just because
Yeah.
that's our bread and butter is
Yeah.
planning. And honestly, all we did was take our planning formats that the military is really good at teaching us, boiling it down to the roots, and then just reformatting it a little bit, making it a little bit more digestible,
Yeah.
presenting that to their leadership so that they understand, hey, here's the model, here's just how you fill in the bullet points, and then while in conjunction training the guys on the ground a little bit better tactical level security procedures and TTPs, I guess you'd call them, tactics, training, and procedures. That goes into, we do a little bit of shooting with them. We weren't able to shoot actually with them. It's hard to get guns down there and ammunition. But what they do have,
I got a guy.
Yeah.
No, really.
no, but for real.
Yeah.
So we helped work with them, just basic things like using the sights and how to actually hold
Right.
a pistol, because it's all they know is what they've seen out of movies.
Yeah.
And their leadership are missionaries, so they don't necessarily know how to hold
Yeah.
a gun either. And then also like positioning of vehicles, how to drive properly in those
Yeah.
environments and park your vehicles correctly, and just providing a better security posture. And we found that it looks a lot better for missionaries when it's local nationals protecting them as opposed to a bunch of, I guess, one bearded white tattooed guy holding a gun. You know what I mean?
Those tattoos.
Yeah.
Not as many as you,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they definitely highlight you.
He's all wash off.
Yeah.
But along with that, what we do is there's no logistical lines into Haiti currently. There's no companies shipping anything there because
Right.
the threat level is too high, as well as there's only one real port in Haiti that you can get.
Port-au-Prince.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
guess who controls it? It's the
Yeah.
gangs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to get food in there, you're going to have to pay a cost.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, you're probably going to lose most of your product. And then you still have the threat of moving 8 hours across dirt roads in Haiti with gang checkpoints along the way.
Yeah.
So it's just not a feasible option. So that really only leaves air options for them currently, which is at most 200 to 400 pounds on small flights,
Right.
once or twice a week.
And the flights are
And-
coming out of
Florida.
out of
in-
Miami.
In
Yeah.
one of the flights.
Out of Opelika.
Yeah, now the gangs are burning the planes of supplies coming in, so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
quickly going away as well, that asset. So
Yeah. So what we realized, really sea is our only option here.
Right.
Because you also can't really procure it on the markets there. There's nothing to procure. And if you
Right.
can, it's gang controlled, and the price of a gallon of diesel fuel is $12 a gallon in
Yeah.
Haiti.
It's a great price.
Yeah, it's a great price. And guess where that money goes?
Yeah.
right
To
into the
gangs.
system.
Yeah. They pour that on someone that's got a tire wrapped around him, and then they light him on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's unfortunate. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Thank you, Justin. It's unfortunate because I dealt with Haiti in my previous occupation years and years ago, and it was a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
And I don't think I had the same. I mean, I can guarantee I did not have the same outlook at that time as you guys have right now. But my mentality's changed over time. But it's always been we were getting it was the Haitian migration.
Yep.
They were all leaving Haiti.
Yeah.
And rightfully so. They were trying to survive.
Yeah.
When you say I'm going to swim to Miami from Haiti and you're like on a fucking inner tube, this isn't build a wall.
That's my
Yeah.
best option too.
Well,
That's my best option with my little baby here.
Yeah.
there's been a significant intellect purge in Haiti. Like all of Haiti's they're young and brightest are all leaving. They're like, I'm out. I'm done. I don't want anything to do with it.
And trafficking.
Yeah.
Right?
So trafficking. Yeah. So
every stone you kick over involves trafficking.
And it's the worst of the worst. So that initial operation expanded our capabilities significantly. So we're now working with the National Police, the Haitian National Police, in multiple capacities. So we grew very quickly.
How long have you worked with them? Yeah, you see my face.
Yeah.
We'll move on. Continue.
So we have a good working relationship with State Department and other entities down there. And through our growth, we've scaled into this. It's one of those things with the trafficking. Once you kick over the stone, it's really hard to look away. Actually, it's impossible to look away when it's talking about the root of evil at the level. So I can actually talk about an operation we just did.
Let's do it.
So a couple weeks ago, we got a call from one of our partner organizations that helps sustain an orphanage in Port-au-Prince. And this is an orphanage with all HIV positive kids from 30 to 16.
Yeah, I think the youngest was 2.
So 2 to 18 or 2 to 17. 28
and HIV is it's like the common cold down there.
It is. Yeah. And it's unfortunate because these are orphans. You just wonder how did they get to this point in the first place. But that's a different story.
Remind me to touch on that.
So we got a call that this orphanage, the gangs had infiltrated the orphanage because they know it's attached to gringos. So that means money, right? So the gangs went in, they executed the executive director, they killed 2 children, and they told the second in command essentially that if you go to the police or tell anybody, we're gonna kill them all. We're gonna kill them all, or we're going to come back and these kids are going to go into the trafficking pipeline. So that's when we got the call. We got the call like, hey, is there anything we can do? So we mobilized a team, and within, I think 72 hours we were on ground. Within 92 hours we had all the kids rescued. So
that's awesome.
So that's
a success.
Yeah. So 27 kids are now safe in an aftercare facility that has, they're going to be put in foster care homes. They've got the medical, social services they need, and they're going to be taught skills that engage them into the local community.
That's amazing.
So the operation was
a success.
And it was chaos. Actually, it like the whole idea of how it happened. It was again just a God thing. How the wheels were greased for that, but. Yeah, we got the call within 92 hours. We were on, or 72 hours. We were on ground. Within 92 hours, we had come up with a plan and implemented it. Acquired fixed wing assets and moved 27 kids.
I like how you're articulating your proper vocabulary. This is what we did.
Nomenclature.
This is what we did, Justin. This is what we did.
We were able to get 27 kids. So that really opened our eyes to the trafficking world. And now with our skill set and our capabilities, we are utilizing the vision of Legacy Relief Project to partner with Christian missions and humanitarian relief efforts as an opportunity for us to fight the trafficking initiative. And so we're quickly scaling into other areas. Legacy's growing. I'm not going to name other countries, but we're growing, and
and other countries need you.
And our vision, in who we are is.
Are you doing any work in the United States?
No.
It's all international.
Yeah, all of it's international currently.
Because it's a problem here in the U.S.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of
trafficking.
Really great organizations that are doing a lot of really.
Yeah, Jeff Teagues.
Yeah,
which I believe you talked to already.
It's fucking wild.
Skull Games, man. Look out for you in America.
Hey, Justin, Skull Games. One of the previous episodes.
We're going.
So we're gonna get involved. So
that's awesome.
Real quick, and we'll we'll talk more off camera, but I was involved in women and children trafficking in Southeastern Asia when I was a contractor as a collateral duty. It was an extra duty. I
duty.
Yeah, I was like, sure, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Like, and next you know, I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Why aren't people really doing this? Like, I just was like, I'll help out. And next you know, I'm like fucking knee deep in this shit, buying 5-year-old kids. It was fucking brutal.
So the piece on the trafficking. So like evil in the Middle East, the stuff that I fought my entire adult life, that's an evil that I can understand, and I can kind of relate to. I know that people back home might freak out about that, but they were indoctrinated into something they believed in, and
correct.
They did the same exact thing for me.
Yeah,
we would be doing the same thing.
Yeah, I raised the
100%.
hand. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
So I can understand the evil, that type of evil.
Yeah.
This evil, I can't understand it because it is.
Can't comprehend it.
I can't comprehend it because it's literally. Yeah, I mean, Zach.
Yeah, so what they'll do is you'll have orphanages.
Yeah.
Go to families and they'll say, hey, we'll give you 500 Slippy Slappies for your kids because you can't take.
I'll give you a goat and 2 chickens.
Yeah,
Yep.
usually like $2 to $4 or something insane.
Because they know the parents can't provide for them.
Yeah.
So these parents will give their kids up to these orphanages thinking, oh, they're going to have a better life.
Yeah.
They'll get taught. They'll be in schools. They'll have food, this and that.
Yeah, all lies.
From there, the orphanages, you have 3 separate routes. If the kid is pretty, you're going to be a sex slave.
Yeah.
If you're a hard worker, you're going to be an indentured servant.
Yeah,
or
you're
forced
a
labor.
worker slave.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you're neither of those, we're going to harvest you for your organs.
Yeah.
And those are your.
Yeah.
That's the pipeline.
I worked with a group in Africa that we. And again, the show's not about me, and so I need to. Justin's probably saying, "Stop telling your stories, Darin." But I've got to share this real quick. I worked with this group in Africa, and it was albino blind children. And in Africa, they were calling these kids moon children because they want to kill them, chop up their parts because that gives they think that
spiritual. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
like
fucking wild.
Yeah.
So here I am trying to work with this group. I don't want to get too in depth, but to protect these children.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this is. I hate to say it's like a losing cause because like it's a huge militia of people wanting to kidnap these fucking kids that are orphans and they're albino and they're blind. I mean, can we get any more fucking brutal in this world?
Yeah, it's.
For real.
I mean,
it's evil to the core.
what you guys are doing is absolutely amazing, and I know we've been at it for a little over an hour, and I know you guys are busy. LegacyReliefProject.com. That's where you go and raise. That's where you guys can go that are listening and donate money. And I can tell you, these 2 individuals, Zach and Ben, you guys are true everyday GSD humans. I know you're still active duty, and then you're. Can I say a disabled veteran? You probably don't like hearing that.
No.
How about
he's
this?
disabled.
How about he's disabled. How about I'll just say you're an individual that fought for the country, and you're continuing to fight for children around the world.
Yep.
I thank you guys both for being on the show. I do have a little gift for both of you, but do you have something for the audience, each of you, to close out with on your project or getting shit done that you guys do that you want to share the vision or the mission? Some last words. I'll let you go first.
You'll let me go first.
Yeah. Because I had Zach start.
Yeah. So I'd say the last thing it's just in the idea of getting shit done every day. One of the things that has really propelled me to where I am now, obviously, is my faith, and I would highly recommend that route. I'm not going to preach on your podcast, but
Fair enough.
Open up a Bible, get out into nature, do something that is you are being intentional for yourself. As soon as you stand up the first thing in the morning, whether that's getting in the gym, something like that, but read, meditate, breathe. I love how Teague's his philosophy on breathing.
It's great.
That guy's a genius. So yeah, just be intentional. Wake up intentional, and we all have a purpose. Those of you that left the military, you're still in this fight. Still fight it. Don't give up to those demons, because I was there. I fought those demons hard. Keep fighting, man. And if you need a place to feel at home, we need guys. We need guys to go into this fight. So give us a call. You can, or not a call, but on our socials or whatever.
And we'll make sure all those are posted
send us an
too.
email, and Yeah, get shit done.
Get shit done. I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And what do you got, brother?
Yeah, so for us and for Legacy, like none of the money that we take in is going to Ben and I. We don't collect a paycheck from Legacy at all. We haven't been paid a dime.
Nice and loud right in there. I want you to say. I
We haven't
heard you.
been
I want you
paid
to
a
say it
dime
again.
for what we're doing.
Yeah, 100% of the money goes to the program.
100% of the money.
And I'm going to
goes
say
to
that
our
again in case you
operations.
weren't listening. 100% of the money goes to the program.
Yep.
Yeah. So
And we have a significant operational
Cost.
need right
Yeah.
now. So
yeah, so spread the word. If you're willing to donate, it is a tax write-off. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, for sure.
But we're trying to do what we think is good in the world, and
Yeah.
please help us do that.
Yeah. Guys, I appreciate both of you. I have a gift for both of you. I've got a everyday GSD t-shirt and a couple hats
yeah.
for you guys.
Thank you for having us on.
Oh,
man.
Yeah,
are you
this is
kidding me?
awesome.
No, no. Thank you guys for being on. Normally I hand it to you guys, but because there's two of you here, I'm going to just do it right after the show. But LegacyReliefProject.com.
Yep.
Go there, donate money, and if you want to get involved, reach out to these guys. And you know, you were a hard charger, but you're still a hard charger in the civilian world, and you're still fucking getting after it. I thank both of you guys for two things: one, for being on the show, and most importantly, for your mentality and your faith that you want to help individuals around the world. And thank you guys very much.
It was our
I
pleasure.
love you guys
Yeah.
both.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for watching the Everyday GSD podcast. Episodes come out on the 1st and 15th of the month. If you want to watch people or listen to people that Everyday GSD, please download and subscribe wherever you listen or watch the Everyday GSD podcast. Everyday GSD.